Look, I have been working security for the Galactic Council for 15 cycles now. 15 cycles. In that time I have guarded war criminals from the Zudrath Empire, detained rogue AI constructs that could hack your brain through eye contact, and once, just once, I had to escort a Velinari diplomat who literally sweated acid. That was a fun day. My boots still have holes in them, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the sheer pants-wetting terror that swept through Station Command when they brought in Marcus Webb. One human. Singular. Uno. A single member of that strange species from the backwater planet called Earth. You would think we had captured a black hole with anger management issues. The holding facility they built for him. Level 9 security. Level 9. To put that in perspective, we keep antimatter bombs in level 6. The council spared no expense. Reinforced titanium walls, 3 feet thick. Energy shields that could stop a battleship. 30 guards on rotation, all armed with pulse rifles, neural disruptors, and what I am pretty sure were just adult diapers disguised as tactical gear. My name is Valkara, by the way. I am a Threnxi, which means I have 4 arms, purple skin that shifts shade with my mood, and exactly 0 patience for nonsense. My species is known for being practical, logical, and exceptionally good at pointing out when something is completely ridiculous. And this was beyond ridiculous. This was entering legendary levels of stupid. Officer Valkara, my commanding officer Thulgran, buzzed at me through his translator device. He is a Crixian, which means he looks like someone combined a praying mantis with a nervous breakdown. You will take the night shift monitoring the human. The human has a name, sir, I said, crossing 2 of my arms while using the other 2 to check my datapad. Marcus Webb. Engineer. 32 standard years old. His crime was, I scrolled through the report, saving approximately 4,000 lives during the Kepler-9 incident. Thulgran's antennae twitched violently. That is Crixian for abject horror, by the way. He fought off 47 armed pirates with his bare hands. Thulgran whispered, like he was discussing a ghost story around a campfire. 47. He built weapons from station scraps. Thulgran's voice dropped even lower, laughed while doing it. I stared at him. So he is resourceful and has a good sense of humor during crisis situations. Truly terrifying. You do not understand, Thulgran said, his voice shaking. Humans are dangerous, Valkara. They are unpredictable. Volatile. They are competent? I offered. Thulgran looked like I had just suggested we dismantle the station and turn it into a hat. Just do your job. He managed, finally scuttling away on his 6 legs like I had threatened to introduce him to this human personally. I looked down at my assignment orders and sighed. Babysitting duty for the galaxy's most overhyped prisoner. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The corridor leading to Containment Block 9 was colder than a Glacian's personality. Emergency lighting cast everything in red because apparently we needed to make this feel even more like a bad horror movie. 2 guards stood outside the main door, both wearing enough armor to invade a small moon. You sure you want to go in there, officer? One of them asked. He was a Velpan built like a boulder with anxiety issues. Alone? It is my shift, I said flatly. Unless you would like to explain to Thulgran why I did not do my job. The guard's 3 eyes widened. No, ma'am. Just be careful. Do not make direct eye contact. Do not show fear. Do not feed him after midnight, I finished. Relax. I have handled worse. I had not handled worse. But they did not need to know that. The door hissed open, and I stepped into the observation room. One entire wall was transparent aluminum showing the cell beyond. I grabbed my datapad, pulled up the surveillance feeds, and finally looked at the galaxy's most feared prisoner. He was sitting on his bunk, reading. This terrifying monster, this apocalypse in human form, was sprawled out on his back with a datapad propped on his chest, looking about as dangerous as a sleepy house cat. He had dark hair that stuck up in odd directions, a face that could be called handsome if you were into that whole predator species look, and he was wearing standard issue prison gray that somehow made him look relaxed. I pressed the comms button. Marcus Webb. He glanced up, and oh, those were very blue eyes. Unsettlingly blue. Like staring into a clear sky, if that sky could also probably calculate 17 ways to escape using only a spork. That is me, he said, setting down the datapad. His voice was smooth, warm, even, with an accent I could not quite place. And you are? Officer Velcara, I am monitoring your containment tonight. Monitoring, he repeated, a smile tugging at his lips. That is a fancy word for babysitting, right? I blinked. All four of my eyes, one after another. Excuse me. Come on, Officer Velcara, he said, sitting up and stretching his arms above his head. Humans only had 2 arms. It looked weird. I have been here for 3 weeks. I know the drill. Someone sits out there, watches me sleep, files a report that says, and I quote, prisoner did not spontaneously develop superpowers or eat through the walls. A laugh bubbled up in my throat before I could stop it. That is not entirely inaccurate. See? I knew it. He stood up and walked closer to the transparent barrier. So, Velcare, can I call you Vel? Or is that too informal for someone monitoring my extremely dangerous napping? My skin shifted from purple to a lighter lavender. That is Threnxy for amusement, though I doubt he knew that. Vel is fine. Great. You can call me Marcus. Or Mark. Or hey you, the human. I answered to pretty much anything at this point. I will stick with Marcus, I said, making a note on my datapad. Subject is personable. Unexpectedly so. Good choice. He leaned against the wall, all casual confidence. So what brings a clearly overqualified security officer to the night shift of babysitting duty? Did you anger someone important, or is this just the galaxy's worst game of Russian roulette? Russian roulette? I tilted my head. That was a new phrase. It is a never mind. Bad joke, he grinned. I have got about 1 million of those. 3 weeks in solitary confinement gives you a lot of time to workshop your material. After he made me laugh 3 more times, I decided to actually read his file. The full file, not just the summary that Fulgran had been hyperventilating about. What I found was, well, the galaxy's bureaucratic tendency toward catastrophic overreaction was on full display. The Kepler 9 incident. Station Kepler 9 was a mining colony. Maybe 4,000 people. Mostly families. The Rakthul Corsairs decided it would be a great target for a raid. 47 pirates, armed to their multiple teeth, came in expecting easy pickings. Marcus Webb was there on a 6-month engineering contract, fixing life support systems. Wrong place, wrong time. Or right place, right time, depending on your perspective. According to Station Master Prelix's testimony, and I quote, the human emerged from the ventilation system like a demon birthed from the station itself. His eyes glowed with murderous intent. He wielded weapons forged from pure rage and dark matter. I checked the footage. Marcus had duct-taped a plasma cutter to a mop handle. A mop handle. The glowing eyes were his helmet lamp. Over the course of 3 hours, Marcus Webb systematically took down 47 armed pirates using home improvement supplies and what the report called terrifying tactical knowledge. But what I suspected was just common sense and spite. By the time Council security forces arrived, all 47 pirates were unconscious, tied up with cargo netting and arranged in neat rows in the docking bay. Marcus was sitting on a crate, eating a sandwich, with exactly 1 bruise on his cheek. The Council's response? Panic. Absolute, unfiltered panic. Security Director Vodix's official statement declared, if 1 human can do this with maintenance equipment, what could they do with actual weapons? What could 1,000 humans do? 1 million? We must contain this threat before humanity realizes their potential. They were not afraid because Marcus was a monster. They were afraid because he was competent, because he saw a problem, adapted, and solved it without waiting for permission or backup, or a committee meeting to discuss the proper procedures. Night shifts became my favorite part of the rotation. Over the following weeks, these conversations became routine. I would arrive for my shift, Marcus would be waiting, and we would talk about everything. About nothing. Wait, Marcus said on night 9. You are telling me that on your planet you need approval to paint your house a different color. It maintains aesthetic harmony, I said defensively. Vel, that is the saddest thing I have ever heard, and I once watched a man cry over a dropped ice cream cone for 15 minutes. I learned that humans had something called sarcasm, which was saying the opposite of what you meant for comedic effect. I learned about idioms like raining cats and dogs, which made absolutely no sense but somehow everyone understood. On night 12 I did something incredibly stupid. I brought him contraband. Is that? No way. No way. Marcus pressed his hands against the barrier, eyes wide. Is that actual coffee? The trader said it was good. Well, Marcus said, and his voice cracked slightly. You could get in serious trouble for this. Then we will not tell anyone. I placed it in the transfer chamber. Consider it payment. For all the terrible jokes. My skin flushed bright pink. That was Thrinksy for embarrassment and pleasure all mixed together. It is not just coffee, he said seriously. It is you seeing me as a person. That means something, Vel. By night 15, Thulgran pulled me aside. Officer Velkara, I am concerned about your attachment to the human specimen. He has a name, sir. That is exactly what I mean. Thulgran's antennae twitched nervously. You are spending excessive time in his presence. This is inappropriate. Night 23. That was when everything shifted. Marcus was quieter than usual. No jokes. No terrible puns. Just silence. Marcus? I set down my datapad. What is wrong? Do you ever wonder if they are right about me? He asked quietly. That I am dangerous. A monster. A threat that needs to be locked away. Marcus Webb, that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard you say. Because I did not hesitate, he said. That is what scares them, Vel. Not that I could fight. That I would. Every human has it. This switch that flips when someone we care about is threatened. We stop thinking about consequences or safety or protocol. We just act. That sounds like courage. It looks like insanity to everyone else. I took a breath. Marcus, do you want to know what my world is like? It is peaceful, clean, organized. Every building is approved by aesthetic committees. Every decision goes through proper channels. And it is suffocating. I joined council security to get away. To do something that mattered. But even here, everything is procedure and protocol. Until you are the first person I have met who just does what needs doing. We stood there, hands separated by transparent aluminum, close enough to feel the warmth through the material. Can I tell you something? Marcus said softly. These past few weeks talking to you, they have been the best part of my day. You see me, not the incident report, not the security footage, just me. My skin shifted through 3 colors in rapid succession. I do not care, I said, and hearing those words come out of my mouth was terrifying. I do not care what the council thinks. I do not care about protocol. I care about you, Marcus Webb. The terrible jokes, the way you turn maintenance equipment into tactical advantages, all of it, all of you. He pressed his forehead against the barrier and I matched the gesture. Vel, if we do this, there is no going back. They will come after you too. Good, I said. I am tired of playing it safe. My skin turned bright, brilliant gold. The Thrinksy color for complete and absolute joy. Then I suppose we will have to fix that, will we not? I said carefully. Perhaps this particular prisoner deserves a fair trial. And perhaps his security officer has been collecting evidence. The council convened Marcus's trial in the Grand Chamber. High Arbiter Kovacs, a Zelthian who looked like someone had given a jellyfish a law degree, presided over the proceedings. We are here to determine the threat level of the human, Marcus Webb, Kovacs announced. Marcus sat in the defendant's cage looking remarkably calm. He caught my eye and winked. My skin flashed pink before I could control it. Station Master Prelix shuffled forward. I saw him emerge from the darkness like a vengeful spirit. His strength was superhuman. He lifted debris that would take 10 Vorgans to move. 20. No. 50. Maybe 100. I checked my datapad. The debris weighed approximately 80 kilograms. Well within human lifting capacity. He moved faster than light itself. Prelix continued. One moment he was here, the next, across the station. Teleportation. Surely. I used the maintenance tunnels, Marcus called out. They are literally designed for quick access. The maps are publicly available. Silence, human. Kovacs wobbled menacingly. Witness after witness came forward, each testimony more absurd than the last. Marcus had apparently grown to 3 times his normal size. Shot fire from his eyes. Spoke in ancient tongues that drove pirates mad with fear. And then, another witness proclaimed dramatically he laughed, while fighting 47 armed enemies, because one of them slipped on a wet floor, Marcus interjected. It was objectively funny. This proves his instability, Kovacs declared. No rational being thinks one engineer with improvised tools is a galactic threat, Marcus shot back. Yet here we are. Let us be honest about what this trial really is. You are not scared because I am dangerous. You are scared because I am capable. Because humans do not wait for permission to save lives. We just act. That is exactly the problem. Council member Boalik spoke up. Humans are unpredictable. If we allow them full council membership, they will not follow our rules, our systems, and there it was. The truth. This was not about safety. This was about control. You are afraid of losing power, I said, standing up. Every eye in the chamber turned to me. This entire trial is political theater. Officer Velkara, you are out of order, Kovacs wobbled furiously. No, High Arbiter, I said, walking toward the center. I am exactly in order. For the first time in this entire circus, I have evidence. Real evidence. Not exaggerated testimony. Not fear-mongering. Fact. They recessed the trial. I did not care. I paced outside the grand chamber, all four arms gesturing wildly. Duty versus heart. Protocol versus what was right. My entire career versus one human who had somehow become my entire world. My heart won by a landslide. I returned to the holding facility during evening shift change. Vel, Marcus said. That was incredibly brave and incredibly stupid. Marcus, I need to ask you something. If I got you out of here, where would we go? His eyes widened. Vel, what are you? Answer the question, Marcus. You're serious. They will label you a traitor. You will lose everything. My what? I interrupted. My boring, safe life following rules that protect corruption. I placed all four hands against the barrier. I would rather lose all of that than lose you. Marcus pressed his forehead against the transparent aluminum. There is a human colony on the edge of council space. New Providence. They are independent, technically neutral. Then we need a shuttle, supplies, and a distraction. I pulled out my data pad. There is a maintenance window tomorrow at 0400 hours. Energy grid rotation. Security feeds go dark for approximately 4 minutes. 4 minutes, Marcus repeated. That is actually doable. I will need your help, I said. You know systems, engineering, and you know security protocols, guard rotations, access codes, he added. We make a good team. Tomorrow night, 0400 hours, be ready. Vale, he said. Thank you for seeing me, for believing me. Thank me when we are safely on New Providence. 0400 hours exactly. The lights died. The barrier deactivated with a soft hiss. Marcus stepped through, and for the first time in 3 weeks nothing separated us. Hi, he said. Clay, I replied. Romantic reunions later. Running now. We bolted for the corridor. The two Velpan guards were still staring at their now dead game console. Wait. The human is out. Alarms started blaring. Blast doors began sliding shut throughout the station. We reached the first blast door just as it was closing. Marcus dove, rolled under it, then jammed a maintenance rod into the mechanism. Where did you get that? I asked. Grabbed it off the wall. Always take tools when escaping. Basic human survival rule. We rounded a corner and ran straight into a patrol. 4 Crixian guards, all armed with mural disruptors. Halt. Their leader buzzed. Step away from the human. Cannot do that, I said, positioning myself between Marcus and the weapons. You are unarmed, human, one guard said. Marcus smiled. Am I? He was. Completely unarmed. But they had heard the stories. Their antennae twitched in panic. He is going to attack, one whispered. I grabbed a fire extinguisher off the wall and sprayed it directly at them. Crixians hated foam. They scattered, choking and flailing. Nice, Marcus said. As we ran past, the station-wide comms crackled. Attention all personnel, Kovex's wobbling voice announced. The human prisoner has escaped. Extreme force is authorized. Armed with what? Marcus shouted at the ceiling. Harsh language? We burst into the shuttle bay. Marcus headed for a sleeker vessel. That is a Void Runner. Faster, better shields. He was already at the access panel. Security lock is. Okay, give me 30 seconds. Behind us, the bay doors opened. A security team poured through. 20 seconds, I said. Working on it. The access panel beeped. The shuttle door opened. In. Now. We threw ourselves inside. Marcus headed for the pilot seat while I sealed the hatch. Do you know how to fly this? I asked. Not even a little bit, Marcus said cheerfully. But I understand propulsion systems, and this is just applied physics. The shuttle lurched forward. We shot through the bay doors into open space, as pulse fire lit up behind us. They are shooting at us, I said. Yeah, they do that, Marcus said, yanking the controls. The shuttle barrel rolled. He punched the throttle. The stars stretched. We had done it. 2 hours into our escape, Marcus looked up from the navigation console. Vel, we have a problem. 3 Council pursuit ships just entered scanner range. What if we did not run? I said slowly. What if instead of running we told everyone the truth? Right now. Broadcast it across Council channels. That is either brilliant or the worst idea I have ever heard. Both, probably. I pulled up the comm controls. Can you access the security files from the trial? His fingers flew across the console. Got it. Everything. I opened a broadcast channel. Wide spectrum. Attention, Galactic Council. This is Officer Velcara. I am broadcasting evidence that the trial of Marcus Webb was politically motivated theater designed to suppress human integration. On the screen I could see the pursuit ships hesitate. For the record, I continued. Marcus Webb is not my hostage. I chose to help him because what the Council is doing is wrong. Marcus pulled up the files, feeding them into the broadcast. Real footage from Kepler-9 played across every screen in Council space. They showed Marcus fighting, improvising, protecting, but also helping injured colonists, comforting scared children. This is what the Council calls monstrous. I said, a man protecting the helpless. Marcus leaned toward the cone. Hi, Galaxy. Marcus Webb here. Yes, humans are capable. Yes, we act fast in crisis situations. But that is not a threat. That is just being human. I pulled up the encrypted memos next. Council members discussing how human membership would disrupt established power structures. They are not afraid we will hurt you, Marcus said. They are afraid we will change things. That we will ask why everything requires 17 approval committees. Static crackled. Then a new voice joined. This is Council Member Ithlia of the Valnari delegation. I have been reviewing the evidence Officer Velcara had transmitted. I move for immediate suspension of the pursuit, and a full Council investigation. Ithlia, you cannot, Kovex's wobbling voice cut in. I can, and I am, Ithlia replied coolly. The evidence is damning, High Arbiter. You have approximately 10 minutes before this becomes a full political crisis. More voices joined. Council members, ship captains, station commanders. The unified front was crumbling. Marcus looked at me. Did we just accidentally start a political revolution? I think we did. One of the pursuit ships broke formation, powering down weapons. Then another. Velcara Ithlia's voice came through on a private channel. Continue to New Providence. You have bought yourself time. Use it wisely. New Providence turned out to be exactly what its name suggested. A fresh start. The Council granted us conditional freedom after 6 weeks of political chaos. Conditional meaning we could not return to Council space for 5 years. We found a small apartment overlooking the colony's central plaza. It had 2 rooms, terrible lighting, and a kitchen that Marcus claimed was a crime against culinary science. I loved it. Okay, serious question, Marcus said one evening watching me attempt to cook human food. How many hands does it actually take to burn pasta? Pasta's a ridiculous food, I said, waving away smoke. Because humans like food that fights back, apparently. He took over, gently moving me aside. I watched him work. This strange human who the galaxy had called a monster, who made terrible jokes and knew 17 ways to improvise weapons, but got genuinely excited about properly cooked noodles. Hey, Val, he said softly. Yes? Remember when you said you would kiss me once we were somewhere safe? My skin flushed brilliant gold. I remember. Well, he gestured around the apartment. We are safe, relatively speaking. I closed the distance between us. 4 arms versus his 2. Purple skin versus his tan. 2 hearts beating frantically versus his 1 steady rhythm. You know what is funny? I said. What? The Council thought you were the dangerous one. Turns out, falling in love with you was the most dangerous thing I ever did. How is that working out for you? He asked, smiling. Pretty well, I admitted. Then I kissed him, and the pasta burned completely and neither of us cared even a little bit. 3 months later, a human delegation arrived at New Providence for diplomatic talks. They wanted Marcus's perspective on human council relations. He declined politely, saying he had more important things to do, like teaching his Thrinxie partner how to make pancakes without setting off fire alarms. The galaxy slowly, very slowly, started accepting that humans were not monsters, just competent, protective, and occasionally reckless people who refused to wait for permission to do the right thing. And me? The security officer who had spent 15 cycles following every rule, maintaining every protocol, being perfectly boringly safe. I was exactly where I wanted to be. With someone who saw a problem and fixed it, who made me laugh, who proved that sometimes the scariest thing you can do is be brave enough to care. They called him a monster, but I called him mine. And that made all the difference.